All right, so today we're going to talk about a letter of intent. This is a very common document that we use in commercial real estate negotiation, whether it's for commercial leases or commercial offers to purchase, things of that nature. So a letter of intent is also known as an LOI. We use lots of acronyms in commercial real estate. But basically, a letter of intent is a way for one party to make a proposal to another and saying, here's what our expectations are, would you consider this? And then the other side responds accordingly. They agree to some, they change some items and go back and forth a little bit. But it's a way to basically negotiate in a non-binding way, as long as you have language in the letter of intent that states it's non-binding and only an agreement signed by both parties and approved by attorneys is legally binding. There's some specific language that we put in these that make them non-binding, but it's a way to go back and forth and make sure both parties understand the other's interests. One of the most important things a letter of intent does is it saves you time. More importantly, it saves you your attorney's time. So rather than spending a few $100s per hour on a commercial real estate attorney, you can actually go back and forth with your broker to make sure that you actually do want to go to a lease or purchase with another party. And at the point that you agree, then that's when you start spending the important money on your attorney to have a legally binding agreement structured in such a way that it benefits you. Depending on what you put in your letter of intent, we put a lot of different negotiating parts in there, whether it's free rent, whether it's a lower price in your offer, certain things you want the other party to include in the lease or purchase. There's a huge list of things that we try to negotiate for you as commercial brokers to save you money in a transaction. It's also a very effective way to communicate with the other party. You're being very clear and you break down each detail to make sure both parties understand what the intent is. So there's fewer assumptions being made and you're very clear in what expectations should be. Depending on the negotiation power of your broker, these can be tremendous tools for leverage in negotiation. Typically, you want to have multiple letters of intent out at the same time, so you can be really aggressive in what your terms are. And then that way, if one party doesn't agree to your terms, you have other options that you can pursue. While these are non-binding typically, they still are a back and forth between two parties, and if a party agrees in principle in a letter of intent, it makes it a lot easier for you to hold them accountable when it comes to the actual lease or purchase. They said they would do something if you did something, and you've already agreed to it, so you should be able to put that in legally binding writing. These also ensure that you're very efficient. As I mentioned, you'll probably have multiple prospects that you're pursuing at the same time, whether it's a lease or purchase scenario. And if you have an LOI or letter of intent structured from your commercial broker that's written in the same format, you can make sure to compare apples to apples in your negotiations and make sure you understand which deal really is the best one for you. In addition, because we throw in so much information in a letter of intent, you can be certain that all of your needs are met. You can make sure that everything that's important to you is put in the letter of intent, so it's negotiated and agreed upon before you go to an actual lease or offer to purchase. So that's what a letter of intent is. It's a super important document that we use in commercial real estate. If you have any other questions about a letter of intent or other questions about commercial real estate, feel free to reach out to me. Connect with me at lighthousecre.com. David at lighthousecre.com. You can call me at 608-234-4848. I look forward to chatting with you. Thanks for your time.